Imagine starting your career at your absolute physical peak, where your very first job pays out based on pure explosive talent. Let's track a 15-year financial showdown between two 18-year-olds, a professional football player and a software engineer. This chart shows the total gross earnings over that 15-year stretch. The professional athlete pulls in about $6 million before taxes. The software engineer finishes the exact same period at $2.6 million. Looking at the raw numbers, the fast-burn, high-yield path looks like an obvious victory. But comparing top-line revenue ignores the hidden costs of human capital. An athlete's body is a depreciating asset. To measure true wealth generation, we have to factor in income volatility, how wildly your paychecks fluctuate from year to year, and the actual lifespan of your career. This table compares initial outcomes, establishing a baseline at age 18. The football player signs a 2-year contract with a second-division club, earning $40,000 a year. The dream is realized. Meanwhile, the engineer starts college. For 4 years, their income is $0. The athlete operates on a tightrope, play poorly or suffer a single torn ligament, and the career ends immediately. At age 20, the football player performs well enough to earn a renewal. They secure a 3-year contract at $90,000 a year. Fast forward to age 22. The engineer finally graduates and lands their first job, securing a starting salary of $75,000. The engineer absorbed 4 years of financial drought to build a secure baseline. The athlete took on massive early risk to generate immediate cash. This chart tracks cumulative earnings through the critical acceleration phase of their mid to late 20s. At 23, the athlete signs a transfer deal to a better club, a 3-year contract worth $500,000. The engineer stays the course, their salary quietly climbing to $95,000. By year 6, the wealth gap explodes. The athlete has a breakout season, signing a top-league 4-year deal totaling $3 million. Earning that kind of money demands peak physical output under maximum psychological scrutiny. The engineer manages to switch companies and bump their pay to $130,000 a year, operating with very low daily volatility. Approaching their late 20s, the athlete secures one more short contract for $1.8 million. But their body is starting to slow, and their minutes on the pitch decrease. Over those same years, the engineer hits the senior level, locking in a highly stable $180,000 annually. The athlete brings in raw millions, but they face a brutal crossover point. The temptation of lifestyle inflation hits exactly as their biological limits cap their future earnings. Then comes their 30th birthday. For the athlete, reality hits hard. They don't get renewed. Their primary income drops to $0. This is the career cliff. It is an abrupt, permanent halt to peak earning capacity. At 30, the engineer crosses the $2 million mark in cumulative earnings, and their annual salary is still climbing. They hold a non-depreciating asset, highly specialized, compounding technical knowledge. The athlete must stretch their remaining cash over the next 5 decades without a primary paycheck. The engineer enters their next 30 years at peak, secure earning power. Over a 15-year timeline, the athlete clearly wins the sprint in total gross dollars, but the engineer wins the lifetime marathon in long-term financial security and reduced anxiety. This flowchart asks the crucial question, what is your primary career asset? If your main asset relies on physical or peak creative output, you belong on the path of the sprinter. Entrepreneurs, entertainers, and athletes on this track need extreme financial discipline because their earning window is brutally short. If your asset is compounding knowledge, you follow the path of the marathoner. Marathoners have to endure the psychological strain of delayed gratification, watching their peers pull ahead financially in their early 20s. A $6 million sprint only works if you don't spend it all by mile 3. You must consciously align your career choice with your risk tolerance and aggressively prepare for the specific financial downsides of that path.